Good afternoon. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Kerfuffle showcase. I am delighted we have got estate agency royalty here today. We have Mr. Craig Vile of ValPal. How are you, Craig?
I'm very well, Simon. Thank you very much.
Looking very dapper, liking the shirt. That's very impressive. And then here we are. There's Obi-Wan, Paul Long of Facebook Heritage, the man who refuses to pick up the phone to Mark Zuckerberg. He waits for the call back. I was saying offline, Paul. Obviously, we do our coaching together, and I feel like you're going to be judging me all the way through this. If I see you scribbling stuff down, I'm going to completely go to pieces. So be gentle, Paul. Okay.
We will.
Good stuff. Right. Well, I am actually very, very interested because today's subject is really after my own heart and interest here. Obviously, we've ValPal's been around some time now, doing obviously famously providing a number of really key products for people, and I'm really pleased to see that today you're obviously announcing another really exciting partnership, aren't you, Craig and Paul, together, working closely together. The title we've got today is presenting MovePal from the ValPal network, the automated revenue and nurture system.
There you go.
You've been working with marketeers, haven't you, there, Craig?
Yeah, we're really excited about this product. Really excited. So,
cool. Well, let's kick off. Let's give us first of all. So, if you just want to just give us an overview, just talk us through it. What problem you felt it was solving, and then we'll delve into some detail if that's okay.
Okay, mate. Well, one of the things that we've had, and we've got, we've quite well known now. We've got over 4,000 branches using us, over 1,000 agents. Now we have, over the time, and that's sort of from small independents all the way up to the multinationals, but the same problems and same challenges we keep hearing back regardless of size. And that is that if you put the valuation tool onto your website and you're not doing any marketing, funny enough, it won't generate leads. It has to have eyeballs on it in order for it to work. So we sort of train and educate our members to use Facebook marketing specifically, but other methods as well, in order to get the valuation tool out there to generate the leads. Then we have another problem, because when an agent generates a lot of leads, and they can generate significant volumes of leads, they, generally speaking, those leads will come into the branch, be distributed down to the neg, and the neg, like most negs, they want instant wins, right? So they'll pick up the phone to those leads, and if they're given a yes, i.e., yes, I'm thinking about selling my property, they'll do a brilliant job. They'll get the MA booked in, the market appraisal booked in, and now hopefully they'll win the instruction. Yeah. But if they get a no, I'm not interested. I've just not ready yet. Blah blah blah. What most of the negs will do is throw it away, right? And sometimes that doesn't even get put into the CRM system. So, and they get reported back to the decision maker, to the business owner, that lead's not very good. Now we know that
it's a tire kicker.
Not interested, but we know that 1 in 5 of those leads will come will do something over the next 12 to 18 months, but they just need to be nurtured. And that the part of the big problem is that there isn't any easy way of getting an agency nurturing efficiently their leads. And we were talking to Paul as we sort of entered into lockdown about some of the challenges that he's hearing as well, and then mirror what we was doing. So we thought, look, we can put this together. We was already working quite closely together anyway, and that's where MovePal's been on our agenda for a long time. We just got it done during the lockdown period, and so it now features 3 core elements. Everything that you get within the ValPal network, Paul Long's fully managed Facebook ad campaign, and a efficient, effective email and SMS nurturing program, so that it's working in the background, kind of like your 12th man. working in the background. And then when the homeowner's ready, they stick their hand up and say, I'm ready to talk to you now. A notification sent to the agent, and then they get on the phone. So they don't have to be sat into yet another platform. That was something else that we kept hearing back. They don't want to be logged into another platform. So this just works in the background. And the only time the agent needs to get involved is when the consumer does something, when they download a brochure, when they interact, when they send an SMS message, then bang, a notification sent. You click on that notification, you're in the system, and you can respond straight away by SMS back to the person and say, hey, Simon, glad you've downloaded that brochure. You're now thinking of selling your property. Let me help you. That's the whole principle behind it.
So you got the power of three in there. I like that as well. Just sticking to all the good rules here. That's impressive. What you were talking about there, as I understand it in marketing terms, is what they call just fire and forget then, isn't it? It just keeps ticking over in the background, as you said, until actually there is an action from the consumer that warrants you, obviously, somebody paying attention, because it obviously is a call to action, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so obviously we're all doing more than we've ever done before. Many people are doing it with less staff. So this is a real solution for the times, isn't it, at the moment, this sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. And you've hit the nail on the head there. It's all about resource as well. Limited resource. There's huge amount of interest at the moment. And the agents that we've been speaking to just don't have the time to be able to efficiently process. So they're literally, what they're doing is taking the cream off the top and saying, look, I just haven't got time to do anything else. So I know that I've got a lot of wastage, but I haven't got time to do anything apart from deal with the cream that's on the top. I think, Paul, you've got to echo that, would you?
Yeah, I think the other thing, which as well as the longer nurturing, to point out, is the speed to lead. You know, that's one thing which with these type of leads, when you're generating leads on social media, it is also about speed to lead, and this product does also do that. So within the first few seconds of someone doing the online valuation, text messages are going out, emails are going out. You're capturing that person in the moment they're actually thinking about what their property's worth, not catching them 2 days later where they've forgotten what they've done on Facebook or what they've done online. So that's where we've actually seen a lot of leads come from. But then the beauty of it, you've then got your pipeline of leads later on, which are kicking in as well. So speed to lead is the other angle to it as well.
It's funny, isn't it? I don't know if it's funny or appalling or makes you cry, but actually the surprise that people see when, if you treat people like tire kickers, that they actually end up being tire kickers. It shouldn't be a surprise that if you don't go back to them, never mind quite often within the hour, same day if you're lucky, isn't it?
Yeah.
In this day and age, why would they ever come back to you realistically?
So true. So it's so true. I mean, there's loads of evidence to show that the longer you leave talking to a client after they've made that initial inquiry, your chance of conversion just falls off a cliff.
Yeah, it's true, of course, absolutely. They've done loads of studies from MIT in the States, haven't they? And literally across every single industry, it's slightly different. But the broad point is, if you can respond to them in the first 10 minutes, hour, you are 5-10 times more likely, aren't you, than if you do it over the course of the rest of the day. It just stands to reason. It's like myself. I've got such a goldfish memory. If somebody comes back to me that afternoon, I've forgotten what I was inquiring about in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And I think that is, because I think, I'm guilty of this myself in servicing our own clients. You can get a very, if you like, VIP service, can't you? If your head's in the right place, you're actually there, you go back there. But then when you're busy, of course, that's when things get missed. So I like, what I'm getting from this is it's the ability, which is, of course, technology is about. It's giving you the consistency, isn't it, from that automation and everything else that takes the guesswork out of it and should, on the whole, guarantee a certain level of service from any agency out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the other things that came out of the early chat conversations that we had with some of our members was that not only did they not want to be in another platform, but one of the other challenges they had with these type of systems is that there are other systems out there, but you've got to put the content in, you've got to build it, and you've got to do everything. So we've built this in such a flexible way But you know our background, we own estate agents today and letting agents today. So we've got in-house copywriters that actually know what they're doing. So it's not written by me, thank God. It's written by people that are, sort of, it's non-salesy, it's educational, it's informative pieces that's actually that the homeowner's going to want to read. But we've written it all. We've written all of the content, all of the SMS, all of the emails, all of the e-brochures. If an agent has their own, great, we'll just put theirs in and they can edit, adapt it, evolve it. It's totally flexible, but they can go live with the vanilla package day one and they're off.
Did you just promise me there that it was idiot proof? This is even Simon Whale could get set up on this. And not
I did.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there, though. You actually, we're all part of groups, and you see a lot of people having a pop at a lot of the established EDM providers, the electronic direct mail or nurturing systems. And actually, when you dig just a tiny bit below the surface, a lot of the time it's not down to the systems themselves. A lot of the time we get all very happy clappy when we sign up to our first one. We send out a newsletter with 30 articles. That goes down rapidly to the second week, down to 10 articles, and by the third week we're trying to think, shit, what's the family pet, what can we include in, we're going to start doing horoscopes or shit like that. It's a real challenge, isn't it? Content is king, we all know about here. You're solving that issue. I think that's great. And Craig, I feel absolutely sure when you're talking about how many different systems that you are, of course, quoting the blue chip Kerfuffle research that, of course, shows that on average, agents have 20 bits of kits at estate agency kit, which literally makes most agents that do the double blink. They don't realise it when you actually ask them to add that up, and it's a staggering bit of it's almost like a Jenga pile, isn't it? You can imagine your tech stack literally all put in place like that. So anything you can do at the moment, we're encouraging obviously companies to work together to be able to rationalise that. Maybe you're still using different companies as you are here with Paul and everything else, but actually presenting it as a single package. So you've got things like single sign-ons, you're not rekeying data left, right, and centre. That for me feels like the future of where suppliers in this industry need to start working much cleverer together.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got there's a roadmap for development on this as well, which key to that is to integrate it into the CRMs. That's going to take a bit of work to do. At the moment, it's kind of saying, look at this as a tool that takes you from getting the initial inquiry, so lead gen, all the way up to appointment. There's an appointment system in here, but if you've got your own CRM that has that capability of, you make an appointment and it sends some automated notifications to the homeowner, then great. You can stop at stage before it. If you don't have this, that within your system, this will do the appointment section for you as well, and notify you that there's an appointment sort of an hour before, or notify the homeowner so that they don't forget and they shoot down to Tesco's or something. It's quite clever.
So on the CRM front, I was going to be a bit unkind, and when you said we're looking to integrate with all the CRMs, I was going to do my best Taken impression and say good luck. But actually, on the whole, they are all getting much better, aren't they? As we talk quite regularly these days, at opening up, they might not still be doing it at the speed, but that becomes really, really heady, doesn't it? Because the idea of being able to, have something like a ValPal operating with a foundations on the foundations platform for repeat clients really starts to get people salivating, I would imagine.
Absolutely, and as I say, that's on the roadmap to get that bit done, because then you've got a front to back solution at that point, really.
Don't worry about roadmaps; it's there. Just if it's on a PowerPoint presentation, as far as I'm concerned, it's live.
You sound like me and Nat.
Okay, good, cool. So I think we're really getting the idea of that. You've got something to show us, I think, on this front, haven't you? Should we just take a bit of it? Let me just if I can make this work, because my skills. Okay, so tell us what we're looking at here then.
Right, let me see what I can do here. So hopefully you can now see what is effectively the sales funnel. This is the most important part of the software, if you like, because this is where all of the leads will be and where they are in the system. So this is your sales funnel.
What a minute, Craig, just a minute. This is a Kanban view, isn't it, as well? This is a Kanban. It's a Kanban reporting view, which is it's like catnip to me. It's a bit Trello-like, isn't it? And it really is one of the most easy ways of looking at those funnels through systems. So, okay, you've got me. Continue. So
what we've got here is this is all just members of the team that have put data in here. The idea is to get people from the left over to the right. Yeah, that's the idea of. The idea of the system. The in-funnel section is where people come in. So if they've used the valuation tool, they come into that section, and Nat's done nothing. He hasn't opened an email. He hasn't done anything. So he's
typical Nat.
It's typical Nat. He's done nothing. He sits there, and that is basically not going to. So he's not going to move. So we don't want to be talking to Nat right now. Unsubscribed is obvious. As soon as they hit an unsubscribe, they just come out of all of the sequences. Warm leads. Warm leads are really people that are just sort of they're just stalking you a bit, really. They're opening the emails, but they're not engaging. So again, we don't really want to be talking to them. But when they start getting interested is when they're hot, and when they're hot is because at that point they've done something. They've opened an email, they've and clicked on one of the trigger links, or they've replied to an SMS message. And as soon as they do it, a message comes up and says, a notification rather gets sent to the agent saying that Richard's just downloaded a brochure, or he's sent you a reply to one of your SMS messages, and then you click on that link, go into the system, and then you start talking to him. So before I get into that, I'm going to very quickly show you what the campaigns look like.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got sales and letting campaigns, and there's a long-term nurture, which basically runs for 111 days. And this consists of a bunch of emails and SMS messages over that period of time. As you can see, all the content's written. You can edit it if you want to. Don't have to keep it the same. But I know that probably 90% of people won't bother. But if you want to, you can. And importantly, the short-term nurture. So this is, in this instance, someone uses the valuation tool, and the short-term nurture is one email, one SMS about the way that they've come into the system. So in this case, they've come into the system via the instant valuation tool. Therefore, this short-term nurture talks about the online instant valuation tool. It says, "Thanks for using the online valuation tool. You might find this guide useful. Do you want to click on it and download it?" Or you might want to book in a call to talk about the valuation of your property and talk about the current property market. So it gives them a couple of options there. And then 15 minutes later, an SMS is sent to them. And the SMS would just basically say, "Thank you for using the online valuation tool. Are you currently considering selling your property, or were you just being curious?" Now, already we're seeing a 20 to 25% conversion rate on that initial short-term nurture, even before they go into the long-term nurture. So this is kind of what Paul was alluding to earlier about the speed of response. That these go out straight away, and as a consequence, people are engaging with it quite well. So that's the first part of the nurture. If I take you to Richard here, and let's say for a moment, I use this one quite a lot, but you can see all the activity that he's done. But let's just assume for a minute that he has got to this point. He's had the valuation, used the valuation tool, and on here, he's received his first SMS message. And then he replied saying, "Yeah, I'm thinking of selling my property." Then within the system, you'll get a notification, or the agent will get a notification, jump straight in, and they can say, "Great news. can you make 2 p.m. tomorrow? Right, so if I sent that, that just sends the SMS straight to Richard. Now, if Richard agrees to that, this is the point where you've booked the MA. If you want to, you can then book the appointment using the system. So I can now go into here very quickly, pick an appointment for tomorrow at, let's say 10:30, press save. And now what will happen is a couple of things. Firstly, Richard now moves campaigns, okay? Because he now jumps out of the long-term nurture and he moves into the booking appointment nurture. And in that booking appointment nurture, it will get an SMS straight away saying your appointment's confirmed. Here's the date, the time, and he gets that confirmed by email as well. And the email will allow him to, with a few calendar links there for Gmail and Outlook. Yeah. And an hour before the appointment, they then get confirmation. Sorry, a reminder just to say, look, we're coming to see you in 60 minutes time. Now, in the system, you see Richard is in the hot at the moment. Now, if I refresh that, Richard will have moved automatically into the valuation book section. Once it updates, hang on.
And that point you were talking about there, Craig, when it moves you from one campaign to another, that's just really to ensure that you're not bombarding them too much. Yeah. So it's to make sure
we don't, what it's done its job at that point.
Yeah.
It's done its job. It's got the engagement. Therefore, we want to take him out of that sequence and just send him what's relevant. And now at that point, Richard is now in the valuation book section. And there's something else I can do on here. This is done from a previous one actually, but we can attribute a valuation to Richard as well. Sorry, let me do that again. So we can say that Richard's property, if we know Richard's property is about £700,000 and we're working on 1%, then we can make that £7,000, update that, and then on his record, it will say £7,000, and actually in the pipeline, we can see there that pipeline's worth £32,000.
I think that's an important point there, is that up until now, agents running Facebook adverts, pretty much just chucking them out there and hoping they'll get a phone call. No one actually knowing how much they've probably spent and the results they've got. What this tool does, it does show you exactly how much how much fees you've generated or have got in the pipeline from an actual Facebook campaign, and that's probably the first time I've seen that in this country anyway.
That's really interesting, Paul. So what I'm seeing from this really is Facebook, as obviously you've been teaching us how to use it, and is a fantastic marketing tool. But actually, there's still quite a big disconnect between that marketing effort within your business then and just the direct sales one. What this is doing is bringing it all together in one place, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And, literally this will show you a funnel and it'll show you what's in the pipeline and the expected income. So if something's for example, with our estate agent side, which obviously I've got family interest in, we're now able to scale with confidence because, we can now spend rather £10 a day, we can spend £20 a day, as long as this is showing the results and as long as we're seeing the right figures, which we can now see, we can just turn that up. And also we know that as soon as the leads come in, they're not being wasted. That was the worry before. If the sales department are so busy and we're spending £20 a day on Facebook, the leads are coming in and just being wasted. But now we know every single lead that's coming in is going to be looked after.
I should also
I'm worried about it, Paul, because now you're going to start really being able to tell my ROI rather than me just saying, spend more to my marketing department. You've got the whole ROI element going on here down in detail, haven't you?
Yeah, that's it. And that allows you to make really key decisions. Is it time to turn it off, turn it on? The testing we've had in the initial 2-3 months we were using, it was fantastic, and it gave us the confidence to turn it up as well. So at the moment we are scaling our adverts and the coverage because we're confident that we can see the data and we can see the results.
You can also see, Simon, on here where the sources come from. So although you've got ValPal website on there, you know, you can see that one slightly different ValPal sales, but you could have different campaigns set up there. So if you're running multiple campaigns, you can actually see with confidence where that's coming from.
And I can already, I mean, the thing I love about it, Craig, is that actually, you know, I haven't seen this before today. 5 minutes after going through this, I could find my way around this UI. As you just talking about there, the ability to filter via the campaigns, that's immediately obvious to me. So, you know, as long as it does all the rest of it, as they say, does what it says on the tin, you know, and adoption shouldn't be one of your, you know, your problems. Let me just read you out. We've just got somebody giving a testimonial, so you can have a drink of water, Paul, or some of that helium, Craig, if you want to jump across that. That's totally lost on anyone who wasn't there at the start of the show. But anyway,
absolutely, say that.
We've got, sorry, and I've just got rid of you, Craig, for a moment. It's nothing personal. So we got the leads are great quality, and the additional information means they are very actionable. We get so many more listings on the market from the ValPal tool than we do with boosts on Rightmove or Zoopla. And that's Stephen from My London Home, a great agency, and know their stuff there. That's really good to hear. Thank you.
Simon, can I just add something else with this tool, which was the main aim when we built it, was that we wanted to make sure that people don't have to come into this back part, even though Craig's shown this back part and it's brilliant.
Oh, okay.
That you know, you will get alerts. You know, that was the key thing from my agency background, was that just want to be told what to do because they're too busy to worry about checking another platform or you know, reading data. So
we all like to think we're mobile warriors, don't we, Paul? That's the title we give ourselves, which basically means disorganized salespeople normally. But what you're getting, again it right there on their phone, they will be getting those notifications and things, so they can't really miss an actionable opportunity as long as they're paying attention, like they all do. They live with their hands their phones stapled to their hands, don't they?
Yeah, they're just busy, very busy. And all I know most agents want is they want to know who to call, when to call them. And this is what this system does. You know, it will alert them as soon as something happens, you need to do this. And they can simply just, you know, pick up the phone or text that person. But the back part is brilliant. But that's, I think, more important, and where a lot of bits of software go wrong is that they're relying on the agent to go in and read all the data, where they will tell you what to do and when to do it on everything.
I mean, you can also mine your own database here as well, Simon. So I've just highlighted that bit there.
Yeah.
What we've been speaking about at the moment is new leads as they come in, digesting them into the MovePal platform and into the system. But what the agents can also do is to say, right, okay, well, look, once I've got confidence in this, what I can do is I can pull in 500, 1,000 more of their database that they've finished that initial sales cycle and they've considered them as lost, feed them into this, and then set them off on a very small or short initial nurture campaign that just sort of tries to re-engage with them, and then it feeds them back into the long-term nurture. So you can take your existing database and feed it into this platform, basically.
You've got a prospecting machine here. That's what you've got. It's very, very slick. Paul, I can't believe you haven't been showing me this over the previous months. You probably realised that I would have shamelessly tried to steal it. So, well done. I take my hat off to you on that basis. Looks really good. It looks really good. And just talk us through the how new is it? How many clients have you got on this so far?
Okay. Well, the official launch is actually, we haven't officially launched it yet. The official launch is next Tuesday. That's when we officially launch it. So you've really got the heads up here,
Thank you,
Simon, obviously. And we've got, I would say, well, we've been beta testing Paul's company for quite a few months. I can't remember how many months it is now, Paul, but five or six, something like that, I guess. And for over the last 6 weeks or so, 2 months, we've now got, I think it's about 30 clients, 20 something are live. And that is really what we've done with those, is just been polishing things. So now the onboarding process is pretty polished. Everything is ready. Everything is good to go. We wanted to do a slow rollout before the official launch. and now we're pretty much good to go.
Great. And again, just every time I just look at this again, it makes me realise that it's ticking another box. I mean, the key thing here, it's interesting. So I use, you may know it, Pardot, which is a electronic, sort of nurture campaign, direct mail, very sort of top end enterprise thing with that works off the back of my Salesforce CRM. But even that doesn't have some of the elements we talk about in here, which, for example, is the ability to, have omni-channel communications. So for what I'm seeing in there, that ability simply to blend text messaging in with the email, everything else, to be able to told when to do a phone call there, you're really making sure that, certain people, of course, respond to different channels, don't they? So you're just ensuring that you have got, from what I can see, a channel for every person that's on there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we was listening to the challenges that people had. It was great having Paul involved in this as well, because we got first-hand experience from Paul's family business as well. So we was just trying to make sure that every box got ticked in there. And as I say, this is how we're launching it, but we've got a lot of plans for this, Simon. We're going to be bringing in the buyer and tenant leads into this platform as well.
From the portals.
So again, yeah, from the
portals, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's being worked on at the moment. But so there's lots of things that we're looking to do in there, including things like, we haven't incorporated the mortgages, conveyancing, surveys, utilities, those extra additional revenue streams, which just makes a lot of sense to bring them into this, which we will do. It's been written; it just needs to be incorporated into it.
Great. Does that include? Sorry, did we include in the channels? Does it have WhatsApp, or is that something you're going to look at for the future?
Yeah, good question. WhatsApp at the moment don't really have a viable API in order to do it. They will do eventually, and there are ways that we can work around that. So we're looking at that at the moment, because obviously it's slightly cheaper on the SMS message rather than using Twilio, which you need a Twilio account to power the SMS messages. My understanding with WhatsApp is that it's you only pay per conversation rather than each time it's sent out. So yeah.
Well, there's a partner just breaking in actually into the market at the moment. I'll pass you his details on afterwards. You might be a partnership deal for you there, because they've sorted that kind of business to business WhatsApp. Most people are kind of just doing it off their own.
Already on the case, mate. They've already made the intro. So I'm
of course, I don't know what goes on in my own business. That's all.
Well, it's good to know that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, right?
Good stuff. We've got Alan Batt again, great agent. They're very easy to use and cost effective. So, Christ, if you've got Alan saying that's cost effective, you're doing well. That's not me being northern phobic at all. I am just down the road from Alan. Okay, so what was it that motivated you then to move to obviously build ValPal? Was it that you'd looked at the marketplace and just thought there was a gap, or was it something else?
Well, from my perspective, it was quite clear that where we are from ValPal, we spend our support team is bigger than our sales team now, and our support team are hearing all the time. When we look at the numbers, we're looking at some agents that don't generate many leads, so we spend time with them trying to educate them on how to do it. And then we've got other clients that we see that are generating loads of leads. And when we speak to them, they say, oh, yeah, well, we convert some of them, but there's a lot of wastage in there. It was just clear that they're not nurturing them, or they're not nurturing them past that initial sales cycle of phone, email, repeat, 10 days, done. And then, if they don't get a result in that period of time, they just get forgotten into a big, and it's just, and also reported back to the to the business owner that the leads aren't any good, and we know that they are. They just need nurturing. And I think Simon, every business in every industry is guilty of this. It's not just a estate agency. It's every company, and very few have this ability to be able to, be efficient with their limited resources that everyone has now. So it's a case of, we saw the opportunity. We was already part way there with the development of MovePal. After talking to Paul, it just just made sense to bring everything together and build it out slightly different to the way that we had.
You persuaded Paul to come down from his guru-like crowds. He gave you an audience, and then he said, "This is a project I'm interested in," and that was it. I get that. I get that.
I think, the other angle of this is that obviously generating leads. You can quickly generate 100 leads a month very quickly. You from social media, but in month 2, you've now got 200 leads to look after. Month 3, you've got 300 leads to look after. It's never going to work for the estate agency business. Social media leads, unless you've got something like this, they're not going to have the manpower. Unless you've physically got someone employed whose job is just to chase those leads all the time. It's never going to happen with those sort of numbers coming in.
You must just piss yourself, Paul. Do you remember, it didn't seem too many moons ago where people were saying, do you think we'll ever actually see, social media deliver actual, business and leads? It's just flipped full circle, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it's a big part of business now. There's agents that I work with now who are starting to use Facebook as their only way to promote their business, and generate valuations. But one of the clients, Michelle Gallagher, who's a ValPal user, she does nothing now apart from Facebook for her lead generation. So that time has come now where that is definitely an option for agents to head down. But they do need follow-up systems. It won't work otherwise.
Are you saying Michelle came off Rightmove there?
No, she's generating leads. So she's probably getting a few maybe from the portals, but majority of her stuff comes from Facebook now, social media and Facebook.
That's where she focuses her time, and we have these conversations endlessly, don't we, Paul, about the fact that you can go on multiple portals, and actually there tends to be a lot of duplication there. You can see that from when they're registered in the CRM. The lovely thing about, obviously, of course, if you're going on the portals, but actually tapping into social media is a very different audience on the whole, isn't it? So that's the opportunity there. The glass ceiling is much higher in terms of getting those aspirational movers.
Yeah, without doubt, this product is going to put you much earlier in the journey. So it's going, Facebook targeting is hitting people a lot earlier. People going through that sort of decision-making phase. You're interrupting their time. You're finding people are perhaps just thinking about moving. So the key thing here is you're having a conversation before your competitors. Rather than being called out altogether when they're ready, you're getting to have that conversation and then nurture them and pre-frame them, ready for when you turn up. They know who you are, what you are, and you've had that conversation before anyone else.
Yeah.
Cool. And Peter Lawrence has just jumped on. Hi, Peter. Fully agree, chaps. He just says 37% duplicates from portals last year at Lawrence Rand. That's fantastic. That's like my own version of Ask Siri, that, isn't it? Ask what you shall receive. That's the power. That's the power that Simon Whale has. How do I pay less tax, Peter? He'll come back to us on that. Okay, cool. Also, we've just got here might be a slight conflict of interest because whilst he's actually at Farlow he's also working with us at the moment. But I'll just so that we're not entirely unbiased. But Paul knows as much in terms of detail as I know any man in this industry, and he goes on to say, ValPal helps us in 2 ways. They power the automated valuation service on our website, where the reporting is really simple and helpful. They also provide articles for us for the marketing, and the articles are always SEO friendly and engaging. And that's just reiterating that point you were talking about there, Craig, aren't you? You've got that report already. That's just gonna roll into this service to the benefit of all.
That's absolutely right. I mean, what Paul's actually mentioning there is we actually write some blog articles for them. So our content marketing team that are writing the articles for estate agents and letting agents stay can also write articles for agents if and when they want them, and that's what we do for Farrell Hayworth. But they also wrote the content for the nurture program. So yeah,
excellent. So Craig, it's obviously it's looking really good. It looks far more than like a minimum viable product, which you'd probably expect at this stage. Sometimes though, some products are made for, especially when they just launch, for a certain size of business. Are you placing this in any particular demographic of agency, or can it go across the board, or is it down to a certain type of agency?
It's a great question, actually. I'll tell you what, that when we was first talking about this, I would have said it would be ideal for a 1 to 4 branch agency. But we're talking to agents, some of our members that are much, much bigger than that. And it's Farrell Hayworth being one of them. And you know how on it Paul is with everything. But even Paul and even Farrell Hayworth have a requirement for this. So we're finding now that, slightly surprisingly, I think that even the bigger agents can see the value in having something like this that's so flexible that they can say, right, okay, well, look, tomorrow I actually think what I want to do is I want to create a funnel for I don't know, for auctions, and they can, and it can just be, you can just slide it in very quickly and very simply. So yeah, whilst it works for a one-man band that just hasn't got physical time, and all he wants to do is spend more of his time being in front of a homeowner, having a cup of tea, sat on the sofa. It also is working for the regionals and above as well.
That's excellent. Come on, show me the money. You had your Jerry Maguire headset on earlier. Let's talk brass tack. What are we talking about in terms of the what it costs?
Okay, so remember, it's covering 3 things. Incorporated within the price, you have full membership to the ValPal network. So anyone that's an existing member, it just that just goes and it just incorporated into this. You get full Facebook, Paul Long's Facebook managed Facebook campaigns, Facebook ad campaigns, and you get the platform. There's an early adopter pricing which we've put out at the moment, which is $3.99 per month for all of those 3 combined, and that's for 2 branches, or up to 2 branches, and then 50 quid a branch thereafter. There's a one-off setup fee of $3.95 for that. Now, very quickly, we've already spoken about quite a lot of things that's on the roadmap. I mean, we're talking short-term roadmap here. When we do that, we already know that the pricing is probably on the low side. So we will be putting that pricing up to new members at some point in the not too distant future. But for Kerfuffle members, what we've agreed to do is keep you at the early adopter pricing. So you guys will keep it at that price. So
very kind of you. Thanks for looking after me and my brethren. That's very nice. So that's firmly like it's a Goldilocks, isn't it? It's a mid-tier pricing there. So it's not a top tier paying right move or your kind of repeat prices or anything else. But it's not down there, but actually for the actual, it's the sum of the parts, isn't it? As you said, you've got a number of different things in there. And the value of having people like Paul involved by itself, I would suggest, is worthy of that fee. So that seems like a really enticing. You're looking for a land grab in terms of wanting a lot of agents on board, aren't you? Really?
Yeah, exactly. We know that there's the need and the want out there, so we're trying to not price it out and make it affordable for everyone, really. I should be total transparency on that. You also, obviously, with the Facebook ad campaigns, we're not paying for your Facebook budget as well. So that's additional, and there's about a £25 a month fee to Twilio to actually power the SMS messaging, the sending of the SMS messages. But
that's entirely as you'd expect for a service like this. Exactly. And Paul, just a ball, I don't know if you can ballpark it. What would you be estimating their Facebook advertising spend would be for a traditional single office agency?
Yeah, no problem. So this can be started on £5 a day for each department. So if you want to run the sales and lettings, which we should make clear that this does cover sales and lettings, £5 a day for each department will generate leads, and then you can scale it. And the beauty of it is that you can scale it. We've seen the data that's showing you're getting the results.
I hate that £5, Paul. It's too cheap.
Well,
I keep telling you and Yannicki, double it up.
Yeah.
We'll get double. It's so obvious to me.
Yeah, well, we obviously with the family business, we wouldn't be doing that unless we had results showing. You can't just chuck money into Facebook and just see what happens. You need to see results and data. So we've slowly been scaling it up, and now we can see what's happening. So yeah.
And as you pointed out to me, if people see any more Kerfuffle ads, I am going to get stabbed. I'm going to need social distancing just to survive. Even my mum the other day, she said, "It's just too much, Simon. It's just too much."
Lovely.
Because she watched 3 seconds of a video. Excellent, guys. It's looking that looks really exciting. I mean, I think I haven't got anything shiny, but I'm definitely going to give this the first Whaley's one to watch, because it just ticks the box, doesn't it, in a load of different areas. I'm a massive fan, because I know not only how do I work, but how many agents work, that by almost outsourcing the whole element of the detailed work. I think that's the point, isn't it? A lot of these things can be quite fiddly to get set up in the early stages. I think what you've done there is really clever in terms of, taking that part of the problem away from it.
Yeah, I think that was a key thing that we wanted to achieve was, not having to set all the nurture up, the emails, the text messages, the algorithm to tell you that, what's going on. That is a lot of work, but that is all boxed up and ready to go.
Yeah.
Excellent. And in fact, one of our lovely little Kerfuffle elves has just put the deal there again. So fixed early adopter price, just to reiterate what Craig said there, of MovePal of only $3.99 plus VAT per month, plus a one-up setup fee of $3.95 based on 1 to 2 branch agencies. And then after that, £50 plus VAT for each additional branch thereafter. Find out more, as usual, on the landing page. Just go to ValPal on Kerfuffle. Nice to see you've got full 5-star reviews as well. So that's always great, because it validates what I say. So it's please do keep those reviews coming in. They are absolutely gold dust for people obviously making choices there. Peter Lawrence just finished off with know your numbers and you know how to pay me, darling. That gets awkward. That gets awkward at the end of this, but a great partner for estate agents. Paul says again, yeah, MovePal looked really exciting. And then, of course, there he is again. Look forward to seeing it on Thursday, chat. That's definitely a referral, by the way. I don't care if you already had it booked in.
Excellent.
Sorry, just one thing I always just ask on this. So what's the classic, what is the onboarding? What's the onboarding in terms of how do you handhold them? How long does it take to get started before you can do meaningful stuff with it?
Yeah, good question. I'd say from sign off to going live, we're currently at between 2 and 3 weeks. Aim is to get that out to 2 weeks. I think we probably are at 2 weeks now, to be honest, and that includes everything. There's a little bit of a little bit less if the agent has their own things like their own e-brochures, because obviously if they've got 4 branches, then each e-brochure will need to be brought on brand for each branch. So there's quite a lot of work that can happen there. So, but that's all included within the cost. So as I say, 2 to 3 weeks at the moment.
That's really good. I think it took me 4 months to send my first email with Pardot. So, okay, some of that can put me down to Simon Wellfuckwitchery, but a lot of it is as well down to what we were talking about before, the difficulty of it. And then there was just one other interesting thing. Well, I just brought it back up on the screen here again. So I guess, when you were talking about, we've got the warm leads here and the hot leads.
Yeah.
essentially what you've done there, if I understand it right, is have you essentially lead scored it then? So based on certain actions and stuff that once they've shown a certain propensity to engage, that's when they get put into those different columns. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's absolutely right. I mean, it's a little bit more straightforward than that. The warm lead is basically someone that's opened an email but not done anything. Hot lead is basically where they've engaged. They've performed an action. So they've done something, whether it's download a brochure, whether it is sent a reply to an SMS message, or if they've taken it one stage further, i.e. their propensity is higher and they've already said, actually, I want someone to call me, then they go into the request to call back. And then obviously once you've booked into the valuation, then they move into the valuation, and then they can go valuation complete and instruction.
Honestly, I can't tell you what a Kanban view does for me. It's just it's left to right. You can't go wrong. It's beautiful.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. Nat's taking the piss now. He's on the right hand side. He's never instructed anyone in his life. Okay, and then we've unfortunately now we've unleashed them now. So we've got what we got here. Peter Lawrence has just asked a follow-up question in terms of integration. I think we did touch on this just before Pete jumped on. Obviously, there you're having conversations with all the main CRMs. That's obviously a natural next step. I don't think there's anyone there at the moment, is there?
No. At the moment, it's the way you've got to look at this is a platform to get from initial lead through to either an appointment. And as I said, and Peter, if you've got your own CRM system that has an appointment scheduling system that sends out automated notifications to the homeowner, then at that point you would set the appointment in your CRM. If you don't, then you'll use this system because this system will do it for you.
He's on repeat there, Craig. So so that as they said, they'll integrate with anyone, won't they, on that foundation? So it's just a case of getting that through. And then D Queely, hi D. He just asked the point: do you allocate postcode sectors per branch? That's a good question there. So I'm guessing what is he talking there about exclusivity as much? Would you just what do you read into that? Is that the exclusivity point? Do you think or?
I'll answer both sides of that. Is it exclusive? Okay. No, it can't be. Obviously, it has to be for all of our members and prospects. So there's no exclusivity for it.
Somebody's got to pay for those shirts, Craig. Somebody's got to pay for all those designer shirts.
Very true. But all of our lead distribution is done by postcodes. So if a lead one particular postcode will be automatically sent through. If they've got multiple branches, then the way that the system will be set up is that each branch will have effectively what you've seen today. Yeah. The owner of the business can review it from above, but branch A will only see the activity for people that are relevant to his postcodes.
So I guess what you're saying is there. So some cheeky gets, believe it or not, like to take the piss. Now, here's my office, but my postcodes cover Oxfordshire, Northamptonshire. I assume you have some sort of fair usage policy in terms of kind of how many postcode sectors, or at least you will have after this webinar.
Yeah. I mean, we do check. There is a thing called the internet that we can check to see how many branches they've got on that. But if they've got, if it was an online agency, for an example, so there was, one office and they covered the whole of the UK, then obviously the pricing would be under, would be on application for that particular case. But most of the time, it's a little bit different because obviously if you've got a not Dighton that's out in the country, their area is much bigger than someone in North London, for an example.
Of course you do. Yes, absolutely makes sense. And Zoe, I wonder where you've been. Where have you been all week, Zoe? I was getting worried about you. Zoe just asked the question, missed this. Will there be a recording? Yeah, all the recordings we do, Zoe, up onto YouTube, onto the various Facebook, in the Facebook groups, and every single one we do for any of the suppliers sits on their landing page on Kerfuffle. So hopefully that will build up into a nice big nice big repository of content. So basically, we're Google. We're the Google of estate agency. Come to Kerfuffle, anything supplier related, just go in there. I'll tell you what I'd love to do, guys, going forwards, actually, if we could do it in a couple of months when we've got some meaningful feedback, could we have another kind of panel show with some of your clients talking about how they've been using it? I think that would be real golden, understanding how that works.
And I think anyone that wants to make an inquiry about it, if they go onto the ValPal page on Kerfuffle, there's a form that you can just make an inquiry from there, so we'll know where it comes from there as well.
All right, stop showing off. I know that's there. Don't embarrass me in front of everybody. Zoe, just a fool or so, busy upsetting Jerry Lyons. Couldn't be better. Is he still pretending he's got the best hair? Because what a sham. What a sham. He's got a demo at 4. Well, there you are. Perfect. Absolutely great. Guys, enjoyed that. I told you we'd do an hour. No problems there. Bit of whaley waffle, all the rest of it. But I think that looks really exciting, actually. So thanks again for the offer there for our members, and I'd encourage everyone to just get in contact and have a look, because if you're not doing it, and I think the key thing is, isn't it, unless you're confident and really being confident that every one of your past clients is being contacted automatically, then you've got to be doing something about it. Whether that's putting in place prospecting a la Josh Fegan, or working with a drip campaign like this. There's no excuse not to be talking to those people, because they're passively sat there and they'll just go with someone else, won't they?
Yeah, they will. That's right. That's exactly the point. Yeah.
Definitely.
Here endeth the lesson. Take that, Jerry Lyons, with your mumbo jumbo. Okay, absolutely great seeing you guys. Thank you, everybody, for taking part. Really enjoyed that. Catch up with you all soon.